The E-Myth Revisited by Michael E. Gerber. Welcome to my channel. My name is Samuel and I want to make self-growth normal. If you want to make self-growth normal, because I don't want to do it alone. Who doesn't want to make self-growth normal? Then make sure to smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm and also the ranking and SEO and all this other stuff. And I really appreciate it because so much work goes into making these videos. When I first heard about this book, I thought that E-Myth had to do with like the internet or like email or E-Trade or something, and it doesn't. The E stands for probably one of my least favorite business-related words because of its more, modern day popularization and glorification. Like, it's a trend to simply identify yourself as this. If you know my videos, you probably already know what it is, based on that description of this E word. Entrepreneur. But anyway, the idea here is that most small businesses do not work. And the info in this book can pretty much tell you why, at the very minimum, practically speaking, that is. 4 profound ideas, the author says, will give you the power in this book to create an extraordinarily exciting and personally rewarding small business. And if you ignore them, you will most likely join the hundreds of thousands of people who pour their capital and life into starting a small business and fail, or the many others who smash that like button if you haven't already for the YouTube algorithm, only to struggle for years simply trying to survive. The first idea is the E-Myth. The second is the turnkey revolution. The third one is the process of the revolution. And the fourth one is the step-by-step method of creating this process. The author, his writing style has a flavor to it. Let it engulf you. The way he explains things and kind of ties ideas together. It's diligent and it's somehow simple, and its storytelling is just very colorful. The E-Myth is a notion that I really don't think someone starting their own business or anyone who has tried to can really disagree with. Bless me. Like, if you have failed and failed, this really describes you. And that's what this is like. I mean, there are 3 different people inside you, all trying to control your body. That sounds really weird, the way I phrased it, but hear me out. They are all a different type of person. This is where it makes more sense. There's a manager who's constantly stuck in the past, an entrepreneur who is constantly stuck in the future, and a technician who is stuck in the present, which is who we all kind of start out as, trying to do the work that we see as most meaningful. Or they. I mean, we are they. It's kind of weird. But the first maybe quarter of this book reminded me a lot of like the stuff that Robert Kiyosaki says in Rich Dad's Cash Flow Quadrant about kind of moving from either employed or self-employed into owning a business / investing. But particularly from self-employees to business owners, is that you can quickly and effectively turn into a business owner from a self-employee by taking what you do and making a system out of it. So the author puts this heavy emphasis on the differences between the dynamics of business and the dynamics of production. Your business is a reflection of you. If you are unorganized, your business is unorganized. If you don't care about your customers, your business doesn't care about your customers. If you are unoriginal and unconscientious, your business is unoriginal and unconscientious. If you don't smash the like button, who are you? Like, everyone smashes the like button. In the second part, he says, the need for orchestration is the absolutely unquantifiable certainty that people will only do one thing predictable, and that is to be unpredictable. But for your business to be predictable, your people must be. Then the system must provide the vehicle to facilitate predictability, to give your customer what he wants every single time, because if you don't want to give your customer what he wants every single time, he'll go someplace else to get it. And here, this part is nuts. The whole book is filled with moments like this one. I am just picking this one in particular because I have always been fascinated by the ocean, even though I never really liked to learn about it. What is your customer's unconscious mind? It's like a vast, dark underground sea in which a multitude of exotic creatures swim about individually and in schools, silently seeking out food with entirely different needs and tastes. Those creatures are your customers' expectations, and the sea in which they swim is an entirely foreign place to your customer. That market, like, when I think of any customer, that is literally what I'm thinking about. I think of myself as that. I don't even know. And the marketing section is insane, where he talks about like how to position your business's prototype in front of your customer by speaking in languages that answer their unconscious mind's questions, not their conscious mind's questions. So I pretty much only enjoyed this book. It's like a call to arms, not for battle, but to learn. And that's probably my favorite thing about it, like the rules, how to survive the new ones. happens. And more in this like vortex of change that the world is constantly moving in. Kind of like many of other books that I've reviewed on this channel. I think it's brilliant. He has this like whole story, this sort of narrative. I think it's a fictional one, but I don't really think that matters. It's about his consulting with this lady named Sarah who opened a small business called All About Pies. It's a pie shop, obviously, and she's horrifically stressed out about it. It's failing and she has no idea what to do about it. He helps her to turn it around like completely, and it's amazing. The whole thing takes place throughout the book. I do not think it's corny, because I think it's very practical and believable. And the way he explains everything that applies to her, it's a typical story of this, but he actually tells why everything makes so much sense that he's telling her. I haven't listened to the original book of this, and I mean, if it's called The E-Myth Revisited and the author mentions something about like an original like 1989 version, but I don't think even the revisited version is too sales pitchy. I mean, to a degree, honestly, any book that has any sales pitch is too sales pitchy. You guys who watch my other videos probably know, I think a book should just be a book. It should not be any there shouldn't be any advertising unless you mention like one, maybe just a couple. But like, this is pretty much like, this book kind of a sales pitch. Like at the end, there's like a whole minute of the Audible version where they talk, where it's like, do you do this? Do you do this? Do you do this? Do you deal with what Sarah had to deal with? Well, you may as well check out the E-Myth Worldwide, blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, dude, this applies to such a small percent of people. Just like, shut up. Like, I always love when people do not try to sell their products and services inside the actual products that are meant to educate. Specifically, the consumers of the products. But this is a phenomenally written book. I think it's far more worth the payoff than not getting it. And that's just how I feel. Quotes. They intoxicate themselves with work so they don't see how they really are. The fatal assumption is that if you understand the technical work of a business, then you understand the business that does that technical work. To the entrepreneur, most people are problems that get in the way of the dream. Literally in my life. If you want it done, you are going to have to create an environment in which doing it is more important to your people than not doing it. When your customer says, I'll think about it, don't you believe him. He's not going to think about it. He doesn't know how. The world thus appears as a complicated tissue of events in which connections of different times alternate or overlap or combine and thereby determine the texture of the whole. We want to fix the world so that we can stay the same. Direction 1. This book is just remarkable. Absolutely. I haven't started any myself, but I consider it, based on what I've heard, essential for anyone starting a business or even thinking of starting a business, regardless of what it's for. If you're like, okay, this kid lives with his mom, he works at an hourly job, what does he know? Well, I get paid less than my previous one, but 1, I enjoy it more, because 2, it's a job where I can apply more of the info I'm learning from these books, and 3, the time I invest in it will pay off tremendously because of the skills I already see myself drastically improving in within 2 weeks of time, like I never would have at any other jobs of mine throughout my short life. But anyway, 4, this channel is probably going to be bigger than anything I do at any job. So it's whatever, you know? Direction 2. If you like this book, I definitely recommend checking out 0 to 1 by Peter Thiel without question. That and $100 Startup by Chris Guillebeau. I know how to pronounce his name now, so I can recommend it efficiently in my later book reviews. The E-Myth Revisited by Michael E. Gerber. There's a link in the description if you guys want to check it out and read the reviews. That and all the other books that I mentioned in this video, if you want to check those out as well. If there are any other books that you guys want me to check out and review, please let me know in the comments below. Also, let me know if you checked out this book and you liked it, but hey, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, because I don't know why people watch this far into my videos and they don't subscribe, but if you have subscribed and you want to turn it up just a notch and turn on that notification bell to receive a notification every time I drop a new video, that would mean the world to me. Thank you guys so much for watching, I really appreciate it. You can find me everywhere, and I will see you then.